Welcome to Greater Good Radio Hawaii, where leaders inspire leaders. Greater Good Radio Hawaii is dedicated to social entrepreneurship. I'm your host, Evan Leong, and with me is my co-host, Carrie Leong.
He is instrumental in growing a small campus with about 60 faculty and staff who serve 850 students to a mature campus of over 600 faculty and staff, serving 7,600 students and offering a broader array of programs to serve the region and the state of Hawaii. He's accomplished this through his broad experience in the education sector, working for several academic institutions around the country. He has come back to Hawaii in 2005 to give back through education, the community that has shaped who he is today. Please welcome to Greater Good Radio, University of Hawaii, West Oahu Chancellor, Gene Awakuni. Welcome to our show, Gene.
Thanks. Good to be here.
So tell me, what is it like being Chancellor and what is your role?
Well, being Chancellor is a real challenge because I have to deal with both the academic programs and faculty, personnel issues. And in our situation, in our case, we're building a new campus in Kapolei. So I've had to get involved in a political process of trying to raise money, both on the public side through the legislature and also on the private side with the sale of some land that we are offering to be able to generate the revenue to build the first phase of the campus. So it's a broad array of responsibilities, exciting though, and very rewarding.
You've been gone from Hawaii for a long time before this position, right?
Right.
For what, 20 years or something?
25 years I was gone. I left to go to grad school, thinking that I might come back, but at the time I thought that I'd probably stay on the mainland. And then, decided toward the tail end of my career on the mainland that it might be nice to be back, and sort of decided to come back. Came back in 2005.
How did that happen? Did they recruit you, or did you apply, or how did that work?
Well, I was in a really comfortable, very nice position at Stanford as a vice provost and with a large area of responsibility. And just a couple of life events. My dad passed away, and my mother is still alive. She's going to be 90 next year. And I just reflected when I came back and my dad was in a hospital about how few of my cousins' kids I knew. They would come to the hospital room and I'd see them and I'd think, I don't know who these kids are after being gone for 20, at that time it was about 23 years. So I thought, we'll see how things go, and if an opportunity arises or if I can retire in a couple of years, I come back. As it turned out, that fall, the position for UH West Oahu opened up. And I talked with some of my friends who I've known over the years, and I said, what do you think? And they said, you're crazy. Stay at Stanford. You're much better off. You've reached the pinnacle of your academic career. Come back when you can, enjoy life, retire, and so on. But it really stayed with me. I thought the challenge of trying to build a new campus, and then working with David McLean, who I immediately took a liking to. David has been a tremendous supporter, and he told me unequivocally, we're going to build this campus, and we want you to lead us in that effort. So I came back.
So you asked for advice from your friends and your colleagues, but you made your own. So what was key in doing what you wanted to do?
Well, I think the key for me was whether, in fact, this could be done. Because I didn't want to come back and spend the rest of my career in portable classrooms on the Leeward campus and in the parking lot. Well, that's not what I saw as the future for myself. So I asked around, and again, the key among the factors that helped me make my decision was David McLean's support. And David said straight out, unconditionally, I'll support whatever you feel that you want to do with that campus. And he has done that. The other key was the state of the economy. The economy had turned around. The state was looking at a surplus. A few years before I took this job, back in about 96, 97, I was actually offered that same job. But the economic situation and everything else, the politics were just not right to get the campus built. This was under President Ken Mortimer's term. But it looked like everything was lining up. The stars were, sort of aligning. And the governor was supportive, the mayor was supportive. We had the support of the regents. And it looked like we could generate the revenue to be able to get the first phase built. So,
what kept you in the mainland so long?
Oh, I got offered jobs back in Hawaii, but I kept being offered better jobs on the mainland. I went from Harvard doing my doctoral work to UC Irvine, and I was offered a job at Manoa. They made a counteroffer to me to get me from what I was doing, teaching and a director of psychological service, into administration. So I took that route and didn't look back. Then I went from there, became assistant vice chancellor for academic programs at Santa Barbara, vice president at Cal Poly down in LA, and then vice president of administration at Columbia. So just one thing led to another. I didn't really plan it, but I kept getting recruited to go to that other campus, from Cal Poly to Columbia. From Columbia, I got recruited to go to Stanford. And so that's kind of just, put one foot in front of the other, and that's how my career has gone.
Are you happy to be home?
I'm ecstatic to be home. I mean, couldn't have made a better decision. Reacquainted with friends of mine that I had known at UH, and who all, to a person, have said that whatever I need to get help in, they would do it, introducing me to key people in the business world, and that's been tremendous for me.
What were you studying in school that prepared you for these high positions?
Well, I had sort of an interesting, eclectic background. I started out in business at UH. Even before that, I was not a great student in high school. In fact, that's an understatement. I was on the verge of getting kicked out of school, and then went into the Marine Corps, came back, started out at Leeward Community College, ended up at Manoa studying accounting. I switched into finance. Finally, I met this young political science professor. The last few courses I needed to complete my degree in business, I took an elective in poli-sci. A fellow named Dean Newbar, who actually rose eventually to become chancellor at Manoa. But he was a guy that encouraged me to continue to study poli-sci. And so I got my bachelor's in that field, went to work at the legislature, and then decided I wasn't going to go into law. I didn't think I'd be a good lawyer, so I went back into School of Social Work, got an MSW, and then went and worked on the Waianae Coast and Waipahu in community mental health and foster care, and then eventually got back into the doctoral program in psychology. So it's sort of been all over the place.
The doctoral was at Harvard?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Thanks for tuning in. Stay tuned for more on Greater Good Radio.